planet Sarif Prime was not a fortress. It was a cathedral. The very air seemed to hum with natural resonance, and the crystalline spires of its cities sang when the wind passed through them. This was the home of the Corral, a species that had conquered half a sector without ever firing a shot. The Corral did not fight with plasma or guns. They fought with harmony. Masters of bioacoustic psionics, their voices could hit frequencies that bypassed the conscious mind and struck the primal centers of the soul. When a human invasion fleet arrived in orbit, the Corral did not launch missiles. They opened their throats and sang the hymn of universal peace. A sound so overwhelmingly beautiful, so profoundly emotional, that any sentient creature who heard it felt instant love and submission. The first 2 human expeditionary forces sent to claim the planet didn't die. It was worse. Hardened Marines fell to their knees, weapons dropped. Their will to fight dissolved completely under the melody. To the galaxy, the Corral were untouchable gods. To the Terran High Command, they were an embarrassing nightmare. How do you fight an enemy that makes your soldiers love them before the first shot is fired? Higher Lyra stood on the balcony of Ascendance, watching the 3rd human fleet deploy dropships. She felt no fear, only condescending pity. "They come again," Lyra sang, her voice amplified by the crystal towers until it echoed across the valley. "The children of noise return. Their anger is a discord. We shall harmonize them. We shall sing the song of deep quiet, and they will sleep." The Corral choir, 10,000 strong, drew a collective breath. The air shimmered with golden psychic energy. But these humans weren't the naive recruits from before. General Ironhead Vance had sent the 7th Siege Infantry, the Silent Seventh. Veterans hardened on worlds so loud that artillery had burned their eardrums. Every soldier profoundly deaf, communicating through hand signals, helmet vibrations, and instinctual discipline. They stepped off the dropships into the crystalline valley. They didn't look at the singing towers. They looked at the mud. They checked their boots. They racked their rifles. Lyra unleashed the most powerful psionic song the Corral had ever produced. A golden storm meant to break spirits. But Sergeant Brickstone didn't hear a thing. The only sound in his world was the constant ringing of tinnitus he'd had for years. The lights shimmered in the air. He assumed it was some flashbang trick. He looked to his left. His lieutenant made a chopping motion, then thrust forward. "Fix bayonets. Advance." 5,000 men fixed 16-inch monomolecular bayonets to their rifles and began walking. Lyra screamed mentally, "Sing louder." Push the harmony into their minds. But the Silent Seventh marched on. They weren't kneeling. They weren't crying. They weren't submitting. Their faces were masks of grim, bored determination. The Corral's strategy, an army of perfect melodies and psychic submission, was useless against humans who couldn't hear it. Panic spread. Their civilization's greatest weapon depended entirely on auditory perception. They had no backup plan. The human line reached the city base. Sergeant Stone saw the first line of alien defenders. Tall, delicate creatures in flowing robes, mouths open in silent screams. But he didn't see beauty. He saw obstacles. He lowered his shoulder and kept walking. The battle was short and brutal. The Silent Seventh moved through the crystalline streets like a glacier, slow, silent, utterly destructive. They shattered spires, cleared buildings with flamethrowers, and treated the holy city like any mud hole they had fought in before. High Singer Lyra was cornered in her ascendance chamber. General Vance, clad in heavy power armor, kicked the door in. Lyra gathered the last of her psionic strength and projected a piercing beam of auditory submission directly at him. A sound meant to stop a heart. Vance didn't flinch. He walked forward, boots cracking the delicate crystal floor. "How can you resist the song of creation?" Lyra screamed mentally. "Are you a demon? Do you have no soul to be moved?" Vance tapped the side of his helmet. "Sorry, sweetheart," he barked over his external speakers. "I left my soul back on Ignis 4 along with my eardrums." He raised his bolt pistol, and the conquest continued. Took 3 days. The Deaf Legion dismantled the Corral civilization with the same grim efficiency they used to dig latrines. The galaxy's most terrifying psychological weapon, universal harmonic submission, was useless against humans already broken by war. Humanity had proven a new, terrifying truth. Sometimes your greatest strength isn't what you have, it's what you've already lost. You can have the most beautiful song in the universe, a melody that contains gods, but if the men coming to kill you are deaf to it, you're just making noise while you die. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.